Over the years, the Pro Bowl has gone from a beloved yearly tradition where you get to watch the best of the best duke it out on the gridiron, to a yearly tradition where you get to watch your favorite players play two-hand touch. And although the Pro Bowl, for all intents and purposes, is a meaningless game and is supposed to be fun for the players, that doesn't necessarily translate well for the viewers. And for years now, many, including myself, have been echoing the same sentiment. The Pro Bowl is just not fun to watch. So today I'm going to go through the 3 different ways that we could fix the Pro Bowl. While the Pro Bowl has fallen off in terms of watchability over the last few years, it hasn't been all bad. During the Pro Bowl, we often see players who would be on offense taking some snaps on defense, and vice versa, and I find genuine enjoyment in watching guys like Alvin Kamara or Mike Evans get some defensive snaps. With how much fun this is to watch, it made me think, what would happen if we had a game where offensive players played defense and defensive players played on offense? And what if the teams were made up of the best players from their respective positions? There's just something so intriguing about taking the best players in the world at what they do and just throwing them out of their comfort zone. Now, of course, it would be messy, chaotic, but it would be an absolutely fantastic product on the field, and the fans would eat it up. I mean, just think about it like this. Wide receivers would be covering corners. Coordinators would have to find a way to work guys like Drew Brees and Tom Brady into a defensive scheme. We'd see a defensive player have to play quarterback, and I mean, the list goes on and on in terms of the twists. It would be absolute pandemonium on the gridiron, and I'm certain that it would attract a lot of eyes. As you already know, the team that represents each conference in the Super Bowl is ultimately decided through a conference championship game where only one team from each conference can punch their ticket to the Super Bowl, whereas the other team will simply watch from their couch. But that could change. A concept that I really like about huge fights is the fact that there's almost always undercards in place as a way to kind of build up anticipation for the main event. This kind of gave me an idea. Now, the Pro Bowl is always played 1 week before and kind of acts as build-up for the main event, which is the Super Bowl. So, what if we replaced the Pro Bowl with an actual undercard game? So essentially what we would do is we'd basically scrap the Pro Bowl and replace it with a game where the losers of the NFC and AFC Championship 1 week after losing would come together and play in an undercard match prior to the Super Bowl. That's not all, though. The NFL has made it very clear that they have no plans of ever hosting a Super Bowl outside of America. But for the undercards, seeing as there's a market for the NFL in almost every country, we could have the destination of the undercard take place outside of America and kind of rotate every single year to a different destination. Now, the fact that they're hesitant to have the Super Bowl played outside of America, I personally think is a good thing, as it is really an American tradition, but there's a huge market for the NFL in almost every country, and I feel as if the NFL would be wise to give the people outside of America a championship game of sorts that they could watch in person. 1 year it could be played in the UK, the next it could be played in Hawaii, and then maybe the next after that it could be played in like Japan or something like that. The fact is, the possibilities are limitless, and I truly think that that kind of undercard idea would be the best idea. Over the years, the Pro Bowl has become glorified two-hand touch. But it wasn't always like this. Fact is, I would not be making this video if it had always been like this, and it's obvious that the Pro Bowl has changed. We all see it, but it can just as easily be brought back to its roots. I mean, we could just as easily bring back the huge hits and play the Pro Bowl as if it's a real game and stop blowing plays dead when the offensive player with the ball is touched by a defensive player. The fact is that the Pro Bowl is still salvageable. It's not too far gone. These changes have really only taken place, if you really look at it, over the last 5 to 10 years and can be very easily reverted. We don't need to go with a nuclear option. The Pro Bowl we once loved could just be brought back to what it used to be. It's not an impossibility. But I ultimately think that the NFL should either look into innovating the Pro Bowl or just shutting it down altogether. Look, there's a reason why people used to watch the Pro Bowl, but don't anymore. It's not the great product that it used to be. But that can change. Hey, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think the NFL should do about the Pro Bowl? Like this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys for all of the incredible support. Peace.